So we're back. Zendikar continuing the regions. Last time we only got through one section. That was short on time that day. But it was a slightly larger section, I believe, too. So pretty heavy focus there. So we're moving on to the next region. I'm hopefully wanting to finish the different regions today. Ondu is a vast plateau formed of jagged cliffs rising sharply from the tumultuous seas. Wide mesas and plateaus top the high cliff walls. Rivers rage through narrow-walled canyons, and cave mouths open into cathedral-like caverns with high vaulted ceilings. Fierce winds sweep across this high ground and roar through the canyons. Travel in Ondu often seems a matter of going up or down as much as moving east or west. The precarious Makindi trenches, the sky-raking trees of turn timber, and the abyssal soul-mad spare define dizzying heights and depths of Ondu. Great bergs of serrated rock drift in the sky above, even in its most level plains, offering whole new worlds of exploration for the poor and their kite sails, or explorers who have taken breaks and griffins. The land is wild and sparsely settled, with the most populated areas located off the mainland. The three major islands stand off the coast of Ondu: the large southernmost island of Agadeen, the smaller temperate bay, and the sea-swept Jawan. Since the rise of the Eldrazi Titans, the canyons and forests of Ondu have teemed with their broods. Fortunately for inhabitants of the region, land here seems to react particularly strongly to their presence. Each crystalline charge jut up from the ground to impel Eldrazi or block their movements. Great canyons open up at their feet. The motionless mesas suddenly develop legs and stomp on the Eldrazi. The defenders of Zendikar have a staunch, if unpredictable, ally in Ondu itself. The Ondu mainland is crisscrossed by a maze of high-walled canyons called the Makindi Trenches. The canyon walls tower hundreds of feet over whitewater rivers or bedrock channels. Manifold winds plow through the canyons at odd intervals, making it essential for climbers and builders to attach their instruments carefully to the cliff walls. Travelers usually make their way around the cliff's edges on wagon trails, but those who are willing to accept great risk in exchange for great speed opt to ride the fast-moving rivers. All of the canyons support a surprising range of life. Birds, reptiles, and insects of all sorts nest in the trench's sheer surfaces. Goblins and koi build into, on, or between canyon walls. Deformed trench giants scale the walls looking for crunchy animals to eat, and enormous spiders spin their webs in the overhangs to snare flyers and climbers. Throughout the canyons and plateaus in the canyon, huge boulders perch in precarious gravity-defying positions atop slender rock spires. But they have not been seen to move. These formations are called the teetering peaks. Historical changes in Zendikar's fickle gravity have caused these rocks to shift into their current positions, but some believe they are deliberately traps set to lure and then crush curious passerby. Some may just study the area, speculating that the locations form a pattern and map that could have deeper significance to the region. Turn timber, the serpentine forest. Only wild and brave creatures reside in Turn Timber, a vast forest on the Ondu mainland. Turn Timber's famous corkscrew-like trees twist into staggering heights, tracing lazy circles in the sky and inspiring the woodland's name. Over decades and centuries, the trees bend and twist around invisible spikes of mana, like a climbing vine around a pole. The mana feeds and strengthens the trees, pushing them to ever greater heights. However, the mana spikes provide no physical support, so the tree's overburdened root structures creak constantly as the trunks sway in the wind. This creaking has inspired stories of a secret language known only to the trees. Many humans and shamans and druids have ventured into Turntimber in hopes of deciphering the sacred language, believing it to hold the key to the deep wisdom and life of the forest. Turntimber supports the menagerie of dangerous creatures. The apex predator here is the bear, a muscular, omnivorous hunter with claws allowed to climb spiraling trucks. Territorial bears in search of prey have been known to leap from one tree to another with surprising nimbleness, and their jaws can slice through bone. However, the dominant fauna in Turntimber is the snake, which fills the predator roles at all levels, from tiny tree snakes to giant cobras, from the harmless to the lethal, from the mundane to the mana-infused. Serpents writhe and hunt throughout the wood. Some elves will use the snake shape to be a symbol of mana itself, and track their movements to direct patterns in mana flows. Agadir, the largest of Umdu's 3 coastal islands, is Agadir, which seems like an extension of mainland. Savannah covers the island's surface, broken up by canyons are similar to the trenches, but not as deep or as numerous. This land is littered with ancient hedrons ranging in size from a few inches to a dozen yards or more. Many of them are partially or entirely buried in sodden earth. And since the rise of the Eldrazi, a number have risen from the ground and started spinning in unpredictable formations. Sometimes they drift together before drifting apart again. So many hedrons gathered in one place have a marked effect. Laws of nature warp strangely around the Agadir hedron fields, causing bizarre and unpredictable magical and gravitational phenomena. Any distortion of the roil, huge disks of earth thrust up from the ground, rotate in place and settle down again at odd angles. Humid winds gather in knotted eddies, forming spheres of elemental air that encase groups of floating hedrons and trap flying creatures. Scholars speculate that the power of the hedron fields, if properly harnessed, could be great enough to accomplish almost unimaginable feats of spellcraft. The erratic conduct of the hedrons makes it dangerous for large-scale experimentation. Baying is actually several small volcanic landmasses connected by the bridges of clinging vegetation. A range of jagged volcanic peaks rise from the center of the island. Resembling a monarch's crown, the court called the small range the Crown of Tali, after their god of the earth, which gave rise to its more common name, the God's Crown range. A number of the volcanoes are still active. Among those is Falakut, called the Crown Ruby, or the Mountain Pinnacle, the largest and most dangerous volcano in the range. Falakut has been erupting almost constantly since the first appearance of the Eldrazi, shooting an enormous column of lava into the sky where it coalesces into floating islands of volcanic gas that drift away, sometimes colliding and raining down razor-sharp shards on the terrain below. A combination of ancient geomancy and fierce mana coursing through the land has severed the peaks from the top of several mountains in the God's Crown. At unpredictable levels, a peak can lift up off the craggy mesa below, only to smash down again sometime later. Brave or foolhardy explorers sometimes venture beneath floating peaks in search of relics, or to tap into the primal mana in the earth, and many have died in this effort. Near the western coast of the Isle of Bain is a group of enormous tide pools that stair-step down the mountainous slope toward the sea. The pools mingle seawater with hot springs, creating basins that seethe with steam. The Boil Basin is said to be a favorite location of dragons, which use the boiling water to cleanse their scales. Jawar lies near the southern coast of the Andean mainland. Jawar has largely been written off by explorers. Due to the swirling ocean currents and territorial sea serpents that encircle it. Mage explorers contend that magic of great value and power lurks there. Sphinxes are known to live on the island, and some visitors come to Jawar in hope of prying secrets from mysterious creatures. On some nights, a streak of bluish light radiates skyward from the center of Jawar. The phenomenon originates from a deep seawater pit on the island and attracts flying creatures such as drakes or even dragons. Some core tribes call it the Strand, hypothesizing that as the spiritual thread that connected Zendikar to the afterlife. But some merfolk reviled its magic and considered it bad luck, and prohibited the race from looking upon the light. Merfolk were probably closer to the truth. With the rise of the Eldrazi, some of the larger minions of Rulamog rolled up from the watery pit at the base of the Strand. Under is more hospitable than many parts of Zendikar. It supports a number of smaller communities of every race. The corn goblins are particularly adapted to life in the McKinley trenches. The trend timber offers an abundance of game and edible flora. The islands of Agadir and Bayou provide relatively stable locations for habitation. Using their lines and hooks as extensions of their limbs, the core are comfortable, even in the verticals of Andu, as other races are on flat land. Large numbers of core live on the mesas and canyon walls and have shelters that hang to cliff faces and hang between canyon walls on a network of anchor lines and pulley devices. Since the Eldrazi awakening, the core start to use their hooks and ropes to trap the spawn, as well to anchor their shelters. The core using a cliff haven to refer to any shelter in the McKinley trenches, which has led to the mistaken belief in the members of other races that there is a single place by that name. Of course, the core are constantly on the move, hanging temporary structures as they go. These havens serve as base camps for many explorers of all races. Great Pelt is a settlement of druids, hunters, and trailblazers on the outer edges of Turntimber. Its name comes from the tents made from the woolly gray hide of Turntimber warthogs. Although many different materials are used in the encampment, explorers venture out from Grey Pelt into Turntimber to seek nodes of mana to harvest from the ancient creeping trees. They have developed a way to temporarily tame and store small, stable quantities of primal mana. These parcels of mana are very valuable and are attracting the interest of powerful expeditionary outfits. The community of humans and other races has encamped near the Agadir Hedron fields, some to study the Hedrons, some to loot them, some to worship them. The influence of the Hedrons is clear in the architecture of this settlement, which mimics and incorporates their shapes and the glyphs that cover them. A merfolk scholar named Vineva runs the Cabir Conservatory, a small academy which sponsors research of Hedron fields and passes on what it learns to the lighthouse at Seagate. Some of the conservatory's recent research concerns the way that certain types of magic, particularly healing, protection, and some types of illusion, respond best near the Hedron fields. The human religious sect has risen to great prominence in Cabira. Since the coming of the Eldrazi, the sects of Angels, as they call themselves, preach that the Eldrazi are the angels' punishment for sins in larger races. Thus, they offer some dark form of hope by promising that true repentance can bring deliverance from the Eldrazi scourge. The repentance they demand involves utter self-abasement as well as refraining from any trespass into ancient ruins which they believe are sacred to the angels. They utterly reject the heretical notion that an area is nothing more than another name for Emerald. Before the rise of the Eldrazi, Zulaport was a small city on the coast of Bayou, a transient community of mages, explorers, artisans, and all races and origins. It had a thriving economy controlled by a powerful vampire named Indora, whose network of goblin, human, and ogre folks would show herself account of all the trade that happened around Bayou. Devastation wreaked by the Eldrazi swallowed Zulaport beneath a great tsunami. Therefore came to the city's aid. Zulaport was re-established as a floating community that serves as a base of operations for traders and a resupply stop for expeditions across the sea. Mineral still lurks around the community, but a stranglehold on its trade has been broken. A small clan of titular elves lives within town timber, happening to the powerful manuscripts at the centers of the spiraling trees. Mostly peaceful years before the Eldrazi resurgence, the leaders were capable of calming the rampage and morale. Now they are armed for war and staunch in defending the cause from the Eldrazi. Hostility has erupted between the town timber elves and the people of Greypot as the elves resist any incursion into what they consider their territory, whether by Eldrazi or humans. Scattered throughout the trenches, small goblin arms are dug into exposed rock faces, offer little protection against flying or climbing intruders. Theoretically, the individual families living in these caves were united into a single tribe, but in practice they compete for food and other resources more often than they cooperate. They unite only when threatened by a common enemy, often the club increasing the Eldrazi. A motley band of humans and merfolk lives on the water along the Undu coast. The wooden boat serves as both transport and shelter. Though the merfolk spend as much time under the water as on their boats, they subsist on fish and seaweeds gathered by divers, crabs, trapped and hunted on the shores. Whatever they can trade in Caviar or Zulaport, the appearance of an increasingly large number of aquatic Eldrazi has added to the existing dangers of shore serpents, drakes, and krakens who drive these nomads to the brink of extinction. Of the legendary places in Undu, none is surrounded by more controversy than the prison of Olnath. Olnath is believed to be a divine manifestation of Zendikar's chaotic primeval manner. Some scholars point to a creationist, suggesting that the gods themselves, the merfolk or core triads, or Emeria, as worshipped by the humans, were created by another being, which could be identified as Olnath. Some call Olnath the flickering heart, the origin of the primal mana that pulses throughout Zendikar. Despite the uncertainty of Olnath's nature and even existence, a real site in Undu has been dubbed the Prison of Olnath. At the top of the soaring mesa, through the dense forest that crowns it, and into the murky mire at the grove's heart where shadows move and twist, a binding circle once surrounded the entrance to Olnath's prison. A complex arrangement of strange globular swamp growths, stone heaters, floating elemental flames, and animal bones. The circle created an uneasy sensation in those who approached it. The effect deterred most living things from approaching the circle's center, where an unfathomable pit gaped in the ground. Destructive surges of power lashed out from the circle from time to time, often striking dead those who came too close. Despite the danger, pilgrims used to travel from across Zendikar to visit the prison of Olnath. Twice a year they gathered to perform the ritual of rites, which they believed would keep Olnath contained in the prison. In their view, Olnath was a malevolent force, and its release would bring about the destruction of most forms of life. In their rites, they would encircle the site with 77 candles, chant prayers and songs, believing that they were strengthening the magical bonds that made up the prison. As the Eldrazi stirred and zendikar came to life, the binding circle in Omnath's prison broke. Omnath surged out into the world in fury, simultaneously showing the ritual of lights to be a sham and proving that the legends of Omnath's existence were true. The beam's destructive force wreaked havoc over the land for a time, but when the Eldrazi emerged, Omnath's rage found its proper target. No mere mortal can call Omnath an ally, for Omnath does not fight for any cause or alongside any comrades, but Omnath and the people of Zendikar do share a common goal, the destruction of Eldrazi. The difference is that Omnath also destroys everything that gets in its way. The pit in the center of Omnath's prison is ruled by the Stole Slayer, a spiral staircase leading down into the bowels of the world. It connects the relatively rational surface world with the seething, surreal void below, where Omnath was bound in incomprehensible chains. Explorers still visit the site in order to plumb the depths of the Soul Stair and try and uncover the mystery behind Omnath's imprisonment, in hopes of finding some new weapon to unleash upon the Eldrazi. Down-Dune Mainland is littered with nameless ruins, worn to gravel by raging winds and churning rivers in the Kindi trenches or overgrown with the floor of the turn timber. Most of these ruins date ancient civilizations of Earth and Corn elves. The Dune Islands though hold more significant sites. Dozens of huge granite sculptures depicting alien-looking heads loom on and around Juar. Called Fidun, they are tall, thin, and generally resemble human faces except for their mouths, which gape open with bluish light. Many lie half buried in the ground or on the coastal sand, tilting at odd angles. Rumbling voices and forbidding tones sometimes issue from their mouths, speaking dire warnings in forgotten language. The Fidun were created by ancient cabal of human mages, scholars of ancient secrets and esoteric magic. These mages shaped the Fidun as guardians of their secret stronghold. The magic of the island, or of the Fidun, lets them speak their warnings to those who approach the island or tread on its shores, and also instills a heavy sense of dread and who come too close to the entrances that lead into the stronghold. Only the Sphinxes are immune to this effect, and the magic of ancient wizards is one secret they never reveal. Nestled into the canyons on Umni's southernmost island is the crypt of Agadir, a natural cavern that was used as a burial site by ancient human civilizations. The crypt's entrance stands on a shelf deep in a canyon where no sunlight penetrates. Elaborate curved pillars flank the enormous archway, and huge spikes jut from the canyon wall as if warning intruders away. Beyond the arch is a crypt maw, a huge cavern the size of a cathedral, with pale purplish light. Thousands of bats and an unknown number of malevolent spirits reside in the cavern. On the rear wall of the crypt maw stands a massive stone sculpture that functions as a mystic lock, a so-called crypt lock, barring travelers from exploring the rest of the crypt. Archaeologists have concluded that this lock only opens on rare occasions. During the death hour just before dawn, only when certain incantations are spoken. However, certain mad human goblin and Yamar mages calling themselves witch vessels have bypassed the lock and traveled through miles and miles of shelf-like crypt behind it. These tunnels are filled with deadly trap that have added as countless explorers' corpses to the ones originally interned in the crypt. Here the mages have spoken in a lost ghost tongue with thousands of dead bodies or the spirits that once inhabited them. These mages claim that the community has granted them knowledge of events to come, and indeed, with the benefit of hindsight, many of their apparent ravings do seem to have predicted the release of the Eldrazi. it's a little bit of a frustration. It looks like well, it's a bit early to end here, but I don't think we can get through this next section with the time we have left. So we'll go ahead and save Tazim for next time, and then hopefully we can get through the little section on the waist as well. And then it looks like we're pretty much on the last section of the book after that. That's it for today. Not sure if I'll be doing this tomorrow. I ended up kind of, as we usually alternate, but I've ended up going through this a lot just because I wanted to get it done with. But maybe we'll do Mothership or an opening and take a... Now, I do want to finish this section, so we'll probably finish this section and then take a couple days break before diving into the last part. But that's it for